So today we're going to dive into this incredible story of transformation, one where a moment of simple lack, something totally ordinary, becomes the stage for an amazing overflow. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right, when you're just completely tapped out, like you've got nothing left to give? Well, that feeling is exactly where our story begins today.
All right, so picture this. We're at a wedding celebration in a town called Cana. It's a joyful occasion, everything's going great, but behind the scenes, a disaster is quietly unfolding.
And there it is. The wine is gone. Now, that might sound like a small problem to us, but back then, this was a huge social blunder. It was deeply embarrassing and would have brought a lot of shame on the family hosting the party. And this right here is the whole point. The very moment their own resources ran out, their planning, their supply, their ability to fix the problem, that's the exact moment a divine opportunity showed up. It's so often at the end of our own rope that we find the beginning of His. Now, this is where the story pivots. It stops being just about a wedding crisis. It becomes this powerful metaphor for our own lives. Because if we're honest, we've all got our own empty jars.
So what are these empty jars? Well, they're symbols, right? They represent those areas in our lives where we feel that lack, an empty heart that's searching for more, empty strength when we're just plain worn out, or maybe even empty hope when things look pretty bleak. This really highlights the massive difference. On our own, with our own resources, life is, well, it's ordinary, it's limited, it's natural. But when we invite the divine into our emptiness, that's when things have the potential to become extraordinary, abundant, and even supernatural.
And that brings us to a really personal question. It's something to really think about. What's that empty jar in your life? That area of lack that you need to surrender and place in His hands. Okay, so let's go back to the wedding. The crisis is happening, the wine is gone, and this is the turning point. Jesus turns to the servants and gives them a very simple, but also very strange instruction. His instructions were simple, but they made absolutely no logical sense. He tells them to fill these huge stone jars with water. Just ordinary water. I mean, can you imagine being one of those servants? Being told to serve that to guests who are expecting fine wine? That took a serious leap of faith. And this just nails a core principle of faith, doesn't it? See, the servants didn't get a 5-point presentation on what was about to happen. They were just asked to obey. Their trust had to come before their understanding. It's this shift from needing to know everything up front to just being willing to trust the one giving the instructions. It was their small act of obedience, just doing the simple manual labor of hauling water, that became the doorway for a miracle. Their trust was the key that unlocked everything. And with that one act of obedience, the stage is now set. So let's watch what happens next, this incredible transformation. They started with the most basic, plain, ordinary thing they had, just water.
And then, in a moment, in a way nobody could see or explain, that ordinary water became the best wine of the entire celebration, something truly extraordinary. So what was the result? The Bible tells us that this miracle revealed His glory, and because of it, His disciples believed in Him. See, the miracle wasn't just about saving a party. It was about revealing who He really was.
And that points to a much, much deeper truth. This whole thing isn't about Jesus coming to make a few small improvements in our lives. It's about a fundamental change in our very nature. Just like the nature of water was completely changed into wine.
So this brings us to the final and honestly the most important part of all. How does this ancient story apply directly to you right here, right now?
That feeling of being an empty jar, a feeling ordinary, maybe a little worn out or lacking. That's not a failure. It's actually the opposite. In the hands of Jesus, that exact emptiness becomes the perfect opportunity for a divine overflow.
And so it all boils down to this one last, pretty challenging question for each of us. Have you really, truly handed over those empty places in your life, trusting that He can transform them?
So what does that even look like? Well,
It's actually pretty simple. It means bringing him your weakness, not pretending you're strong. It means bringing him your simple obedience, even when you don't fully understand. And it means bringing him every single one of those empty places. So let's just end with this prayer. It's a way to respond, a way to take that step and offer up your own empty jars, trusting that he can and will turn your ordinary into something truly extraordinary.
You attend, but are you awake? You listen, but are you transformed?
Faith without fire becomes empty religion.
The world is waiting, not for perfection, but for obedience. This is not just content. This is discipleship in motion. Step into truth. Be equipped. Reach the nations.